Hey everyone, it's final round and the first round. My name is Jordan. This is Luca. Just going to be here for the intro on the Cup games. So this is Friday's slate. There are 8 different games. None of these teams are on a back-to-back because this is the Cup games for the in-season tournament. And if you want to know how this works, they have 6 different groups of 5 teams, 3 from the East, 3 from the West. The 5 teams will play against each other a round robin. The winner of that group, or the highest record, will go to a playoff, and then there will be a wild card team. A team that comes in second place in one of the groups that has the best record will go into that playoff. So point differential is the tiebreaker, so that is huge for games like this. So especially early on in it when everybody is still in it. Point differential, that means when teams go up big, they're not going to take their starters out. They're going to want to run the score up as much as possible so they can potentially have that tiebreaker. And here's a breakdown of all the money they can make inside the tournament. So basically, if you make the tournament, you're going to get some type of bonus. And obviously, if you get to the final and you win the trophy, you get $500,000 per player. These games, we don't have to worry about blowouts. We actually are okay with playing guys, like star players, and taking their overs on lines and in blowout potential games. Does that sound like fun? So you will see them just come up on the screen right there. It's from a data app called Outlier. There will be a link in the description for a 7-day free trial for Outlier. Just noticed he was holding on to a goat toy, which is ironic. A lot of people say Luca's the goat whenever I bring him to the videos. But let's get into these games. The first game is the Celtics at the Sixers. Sixers are 3-point favorites. Boston has no new injuries. And then for the Sixers, they will not have Dominic Barlow. So both teams, they face each other in the season opener, and the Sixers won by 1 point, and that was in Boston. Clearly, this one will be in Philadelphia. Tyrese Maxey had 40 points. VJ Edgecombe put himself on the map in that game with 34 points. Joel Embiid did not play very well. He had his 20 minutes restriction. And he finished with just 4 points, but since then he has taken his 20 minutes and he has scored very well. 25 points and 20 in the last 2 games. So we'll know before game time. They'll say if he's still going to be on exactly 20 minutes or if it's going to get bumped up to like 25 or something like that. And even last game he played about 22-ish minutes, so they went a little bit above it. So looks like they're starting to expand it a little bit, and they may want to just because this is a cup game. And then for Boston in the matchup earlier this year, Jaylen Brown, Derek White, Peyton Pritchard all had really good games. And the Sixers are giving up the 8th most points so far this season, and Boston's giving up the 3rd least points, and they played really great defense against Cleveland, but Cleveland was really lacking some shooters in that matchup, which I had pointed out, and Boston took advantage of it. So Boston, they play really well at home, and they've always just would string threes together. You saw like Sam Hauser the last game against Cleveland, like knock down 3 threes in a row, and then the crowd just gets hyped, and they still lost at home. So with Joel Embiid being much more comfortable, that was his very first game, in a long time, playing a few minutes. He had 4 points, and him being more comfortable and being more involved. Tyrese Maxey still playing on another level. I think VJ Edgecombe will come back down to earth a little bit, but with the Sixers at home, I will lean them as 3.5-point favorites because the Celtics, they kind of feed off of that home crowd and they won't have it. So his next game will be the Hawks at the Pacers. Hawks are 2-point favorites. Trae Young will be out for this one, and then the Pacers still have their massive group of injuries, which include Tyrese Halliburton, Ben Mathurin, TJ McConnell, Andrew Nembhard, and Obi Toppin. That's like a whole lineup right there that could be on the court and be a very good lineup. The Pacers were able to keep up with a Dallas team that had lost Anthony Davis during that game, but they were able to hang, and they met the spread. So without a doubt, Pascal Siakam is probably going to get 20-plus shot attempts here. He is like the main guy here that can score. So going to see a lot of attempts from him. We'll see how high his line comes out at. But he's going to need some other guys to step up in that game versus the Mavericks. Jarris Walker stepped up, scored 20 points, and then Ray J. Dennis off the bench had 17 points and 5 assists on 13 shots. I've seen Ray J have some other good games this year. Aaron Naismith, he tried to contribute. He had 16 shots, but he only made 2 of them. So we're really going to need Aaron Naismith to step up and be that second guy, because he should be that second guy. And then for Atlanta, with Trey out, they kind of lost rhythm and everything, because he's the engine of that team. But Jalen Johnson can get some assists. He's okay distributor, and then Dyson Daniels is a okay distributor as well. So potentially look out for Jalen Johnson points, assists. That was a wagon for a little bit last year before he got hurt, and then Dyson Daniels rebounds, assists was a wagon for a little bit. So maybe those come back to life, and especially Johnson with his size up against an undersized Pacers team. So a shooter off the bench for the Hawks to take a look out for is going to be Nickeil Alexander-Walker. He has been great this year. So the last 4 games, he's had 19, 17, 17, and 18. So he's just been hot off the bench. Probably going to have to step up here and knock down a lot of shots. With Trey not there, they're going to need more threes to come from other areas, and he stepped up and had 19 when Trey went out. Another guy who has been great is Onyeka Okongwu off the bench. He's had 3 double-doubles in a row. The Pacers are giving up the 5th most rebounds to teams so far this year, so setting up for another potential double-double. We'll see where that payout is at for him. He's scored 10-plus points in every game so far this year, but it's really, can he get the rebounds? So the Hawks, when Trey went down, they struggled against the Nets, who play like zero defense, and it's Michael Porter Jr. and Cam Thomas. And then the Pacers, they put up a fight against a Mavericks team that's kind of dwindling right now, with a Cooper Flag that's kind of not living up to expectations, especially with VJ Edgecombe setting the bar, really high of what this rookie class should be. This one's really a toss-up to me. It's weird to say because the Hawks have more talent. It's just the Pacers, their mentality, just the way they play, they just find a way to stay in games. So talent-wise, I would lean the Hawks, but I just have a feeling it's going to be like a playoff atmosphere, because it's a cup game. It's like an artificial playoff atmosphere that Adam Silver has kind of built for the midseason. That's the whole point of all of this, is to bring some hype to regular season games. So with that, with the way the Pacers play in those type of environments, physical, and knock down 3-point shots at the right times, I'm going to favor the underdog, the Pacers, to take a win here against the Hawks. Next game is the Raptors at the Cavaliers. Cavaliers are 7.5-point favorites. Raptors will not have Jakob Poeltl, so they're going to be lacking a lot of size. The Cavaliers will not have Darius Garland, Max Strus, or Sam Merrill again, and now Donovan Mitchell and Jared Allen are on the injury report as questionable, which worries me. So it's looking like a really good opportunity for Evan Mobley, where a guy who's kind of like the same build as him, Jabari Smith from the Rockets, just had 25 points versus the Raptors. So really good opportunity for Evan Mobley, especially if Donovan Mitchell isn't there. A lot of volume is going to go to Evan Mobley. The Cavaliers are really lacking shooters right now, with Strus, Garland, Sam Merrill. It's a lot of 3-point shooting for them. So this is really going to depend on the injuries. If Mitchell and Jared Allen are out, I think the Raptors have the talent to keep up with the Cavaliers, and take the 7.5 points. So it's going to depend on that. But a guy to look out for is going to be second-year player Jalen Tyson for the Cavaliers. He went into the starting lineup for them, and he was pretty good in garbage time last year whenever I watched the Cavs. So when they put him in the starting lineup, I was excited to see how he plays. He's a hustle type player, so he took efficient shots. He had 19 points on 8 of 11 shooting, and he forced 3 steals. And then when you look at the Raptors, it's hard to find someone consistent. Maybe Emmanuel Quickley. I looked at his assists. He's had 8, 8, 5, 7, and 7. So if he has a line at like 6.5, he's hit that 4 out of 5 games. So that's something potentially to look at. But yeah, as far as a lean, it's gonna This one really depends on the injury report. This next game is going to be the Knicks at the Bulls. Knicks are 4-point favorites. Knicks, Mitchell Robinson's questionable. Karl-Anthony Towns and Gershon Yabusele are likely to play. And then the Bulls, Kobe White and Zach Collins remain out. Bulls actually covered the spread in all 3 games versus the Knicks last season, and they won 2 out of the 3 games versus the Knicks, and they're obviously going to be home here. So they got off to a hot start this season, 4-0, covering in all of them. And then the Knicks are 2-2 so far this year, and they've played a lot of really tough teams. Both teams are top 7 toughest defenses giving up points. The Knicks just haven't been able to find offense like the Bulls have been able to. The Knicks are really just Jalen Brunson, and then Mikal Bridges and Karl-Anthony Towns is kind of off and on, and sometimes OG, Anunoby. Inconsistency there. And then for the Bulls, Josh Giddey has been like the guy for scoring, around 20 points a game consistently. And then rebounding, Nikola Vucevic has been getting a ton of rebounds. He's definitely a guy to look out for rebounds. A consistent shooter off the bench. I've talked about Ayo Dosunmu. He just had a really bad game off the bench. But Kevin Huerter has had 15, 11, 15, and 18 off the bench. So I think Ayo Dosunmu is still a good look. Maybe his line comes down because of that bad game, but Kevin Huerter is another guy to look out for. So I'm leaning the underdogs here at home. The Bulls, give me 4 points for the Bulls underdogs. All right, so we are halfway there. If you guys could, please like the video. If you haven't, please subscribe to the channel. If you have a little bit of extra time, could you leave a comment for the algorithm? You just say anything. You put like the number 1 there or a W. Helps get this video out there for more people to see. And also, if you're using Prizepicks and you want to bet straight bets or bet on spreads and money lines, all that stuff, you actually can in the states that you are in. States that don't allow DraftKings or Fanduel. These are social sports books. So check out Novig, Rebet, and Onyx Odds. Onyx Odds and Rebet are doing matches up to $100. Novig is doing a play 5 get 50. Promo code's find around 11 on all of those. Links are in the description. That'll take you straight there. And then I also want to shout out the Underdog promo. While it still lasts, I don't know when it's, they just said it's limited time. So that is play 5 get 100. So that is also promo code find around 11. So this next game is going to be the Lakers versus the Grizzlies. Grizzlies are 2.5-point favorites. Luka unexpectedly has been upgraded to questionable for this one, so a lot of drama there. And then the Grizzlies won't have their usual guys like Zach Edey, Scottie Pippen Jr. And the Lakers are coming off a nice victory versus Timberwolves, even though Anthony Edwards wasn't playing. Austin Reeves had a huge game with 28 points and 16 assists. Then they got some contributions from some other guys, but there's not like a consistent second guy. So it's really going to depend on that Luka news. For the Grizzlies so far this year, guys off the bench to look out for. Cedric Howard. I think Cedric Howard's a great look. He just continues to impress off the bench. His lines are normally pretty reasonable. So obviously Luka makes a huge difference with this one. Grizzlies at home. I think just the way Austin Reeves has been playing, just kind of like on another level. He's like almost like a superstar level, and he's elevating the level of other guys. I'm going to lean the Lakers at 2.5-point underdogs on the road here versus the Grizzlies, with Austin Reeves having another big game versus a very fast-paced Grizzlies team. It gives up the 6th most points so far in the NBA. So could be a lot of scoring, and guys like Rui Hachimura could show up and get a lot of points. This next game is the Jazz versus Suns. Suns are 3.5-point favorites. Jazz, Isaiah Collier is out, and George Niang is questionable. And then Dylan Brooks and Jalen Green are out for this one for the Suns. The Suns are giving up the 5th most points so far this year, and then the Jazz are giving up the 13th most. So could be a high-scoring game. They did just play each other recently, and it was an overtime game. The Jazz have covered in every single game so far this year, and the Suns are 2-3 against the spread. Lauri Markkanen has been killing it with the last 3 games. He's at 33, 51, and 32. That 51 he had against the Suns. So Walker Kessler has had back-to-back double-doubles. And Keontae George isn't just passing the ball. He's had 26 points and 29 points in the past 2 games, so he's doing really well. For the Suns, Mark Williams is a guy to look out for. He woke up in that game versus the Jazz. Coming off the bench, he scored 25 points and had 11 rebounds, so they put him in a starting lineup the next game, and he finished with 20 points and 12 rebounds. So that's how he was playing in Charlotte, and if he's back on that level, definitely look out for Mark Williams, points plus rebounds. And then I have to mention Devin Booker scored 30 points in 4 out of 5 games so far this year. So he had 34 against Utah. This was a really close game when they played. The Jazz ended up winning. They were at home. Now it's going to be in Phoenix. I'm going to favor the Jazz as underdogs, 3.5 points on the road. I think that's a few underdogs I've already favored or leaned towards. This next game is going to be the Nuggets at the Trailblazers. Nuggets are 4.5-point favorites. Cameron Johnson is probable to play, and Jamal Murray is questionable to play. New injury for the Blazers. Shaedon Sharpe is questionable. So that is 2 really big questionables for these teams. Nuggets have covered in 3 out of 4 games, and Trailblazers have covered in 4 out of 5 games. These teams last year, they split 2-2, and each team won their home game. So this is the Trailblazers at home. The Nuggets are playing really good basketball. The toughest team they faced, they win the overtime versus the Warriors, and they lost. Nuggets are playing really good defense, giving up these 6th least points to teams, and the Trailblazers are kind of in the middle of the league. Jokic is looking like he's going to have another big game. He has just been on another level when it comes to rebounds and assists. His points, he's scoring around 20 a game. He's not up near 30, which I think is fine. They don't want to put too much on his shoulders so early in the year, and just have more team basketball and play with more depth to be more consistent as the year goes. So I'm going to point out the Portland Trailblazers, Jeremy Grant, once again, because he had another great game. So Jeremy Grant's averaging 22 points off the bench, 22 points per game off the bench. He just continues to play really well. And then when it comes to these questionables, Shaedon Sharpe is averaging 17 a game, and Jamal Murray's averaging 27 a game. So if Jamal Murray plays this one, I'm going to lean the Nuggets as the favorites on the road, 4.5 points. I think just the playoff experience and everything in a playoff type atmosphere, I think they get the win here versus the Trailblazers. And this last one is the Pelicans at the Clippers. Clippers are 10.5-point favorites. Pelicans have not been too great this year. Kevon Looney is doubtful for them. And then for the Clippers, there are no new injuries. Both teams are 1-3 against the spread this year. Clippers have been a little bit underwhelming, except the Pelicans are giving up the 2nd most points so far this year, 6th most rebounds, and 3rd most assists. The Clippers are in the middle of the league for every one of those categories, but this is where the point differential comes into play. Like the Clippers, this is their easiest matchup in their group. So all the other teams in their group are going to play the Pelicans too, and it's like who can get the widest margin of victory versus the Pelicans, pretty much. So they're going to want to run up the score here. So you could look at guys like James Harden and Kawhi Leonard. Check how high their lines are. James Harden assist obviously is a good look. Otherwise, there's not really any like sneaky plays to look out for. It's just their main guys, and hopefully they can cover. I'm favoring them. I'm going to lean towards the Clippers to cover just because of this atmosphere and this being a cup game. I'm going to favor them, even though they've been a little bit disappointing so far this year. So with this one, I lean the Clippers. So that is the 8 games, the first Friday for the cup. If you'd like to discuss lines further, I have a Discord. Link is in the description. Hop on in there. You can talk about basketball, football, World Series baseball, baseball is coming to a close. It's been a great series, and that is completely free. Check out tennis as well. I keep shouting out the tennis plays in there. People keep cashing. The tennis people in there, they know what they're doing. And then as far as the pin comment plays go, Jimmy Butler cashed his points. I felt really good about that read. LaMelo Ball did not cash his points. He was cold from 3, and he just came up short. He stopped doing his high volume shooting. AJ Mitchell of the Thunder cashed his points, and then there was a late play that I put in there. Also put it in the Discord. Whenever there's a late one, it's based off of like a late injury news or a lineup change. So Zion James of the Hornets was normally on the bench. He had actually been playing really well off the bench, but they put him into the starting lineup in place of Colin Sexton, for Colin Sexton to play off the bench. I guess he said that he was more comfortable doing that. So I put in the Discord his line. He ended up cashing. He hit his average, 8 points. And his line was like 5.5 or 6.5. On some books, so he ended up hitting that. So it was 3-1 on the props. And then as far as the leans go, it's been like a okay day so far. The Magic whooped the Hornets, and then the other 3 games are closing out. So I'm not sure as I'm filming, what happened with those. But anyway, I'm going to get this edited and get it out to you all. I know it's a longer video, so hope you all do well with these cup games, and God bless you. I will catch you on the next one. Bye.